Host. My name is Olaiton Onyeboha, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant who has been on this journey since 2012 when I had the opportunity of researching schools in the US, in the UK, and all the schools in Canada, universities for MBA program. Before I settled for University of New Brunswick St. John MBA program, and there I majored in entrepreneurship and technology management. I know I haven't really had the opportunity to introduce myself, but I just thought to let you know who I am, what I've been doing, and how passion has led me through this journey of over 10 years actually. Before I came to Canada, I've been researching Canada for 2 years prior to my arrival. Speaking of my own province of New Brunswick, are you aware of an upcoming international in-person and virtual recruitment? Please stay tuned, go on gnb.ca, register for this event, and be sure to put your best foot forward. To find out more, take a closer look at this link and register to be there. This video increases your knowledge on Canada Study Permit application. Let's watch this. Hey great people, we're back again. We're back to the segments of 1 plus 1 equals to 3, simplifying the process of studying in Canada. On today's episode, we just want to address two other questions that have been raised. I'm your host. My name is Olaiton Onyeboha, a regulated Canadian immigration consultant who has been on this journey since 2012 when I had the opportunity of researching schools in the US, in the UK, and all the schools in Canada, universities for MBA program. Before I settled for University of New Brunswick St. John MBA program, and there I majored in entrepreneurship and technology management. I know I haven't really had the opportunity to introduce myself, but I just thought to let you know who I am, what I've been doing, and how passion has led me through this journey of over 10 years actually. Before I came to Canada,
when you think of number 7, what comes to mind?
Canada
it means the number of completion, the number of perfection is due
it is
and
my joy
begins
to
Canada study with ease.
all the
Connect
Excel
with
sheet
us
that
today.
I put together with my husband, we were able to at least share that Excel sheet with over 10 persons, between 2014 till 16, and it helps them to literally navigate and arrive Canada on their own with children. And I'm so happy that there are over 200 persons that I have connected with, personally, one-on-one, and we're all happy to be in Canada. A lot of they've moved on from becoming from students to worker to permanent residents and even citizen. So the goal is I will continue to clap for everyone until it is my turn. So welcome today to our Canada Study Visa application segment, questions and answering your question. My name once again is Olaiton. You can call me Ola, whatever it's easy for you. My RCIC number is R708702. I'm the founder of 7th Laurel Immigration Consulting and Oak Ridge Consulting Study Abroad. So today, let's just quickly dive into the next two questions on work permit and proof of relationship. Employer's introduction letter, work permits and proof of relationship. The first question was asked is, what are the components of employee's introduction letter? The first thing I would recommend that you do is to reach out to your human resources department. They have a template that is being used to generate your employment reference or confirmation of employment and whatever you need when it comes to human resources requirement. And in most cases, I can just share some specifics that you need to look out for, which is your introduction, the role you occupy, which I know that's the standard, your employment history, how long have you been working with them, your salary, your duration of employment. All those things has to be on the letterhead of your company. So it's not something that you just wake up and you write and then you send to immigration. It has to be on the company letterhead. It has to be duly signed by the designated person in that role, like your HR manager. It has to be signed by them. If you have an opportunity to get a leave of absence from your company, if you have been working, I've seen in the past that if you've worked for so long in an organization, they will gladly want to support your career advancement. So I've seen cases where I've recommended that my clients, when I look at their career progression, to reach out to their employer to request study leave. Most of these study leaves are unpaid, so you don't expect to get paid, but most times your job is guaranteed when you return. Even you could even get a higher role upon your return to that company, because it's a plus to them as well. When you are going to study in Canada or study anywhere in the world, you're bringing expertise, you're bringing experiences, you're bringing knowledge, a diverse knowledge that is going to go back and add value to their company. So when you're going out to study in another country, you're going to be meeting different people, and they know that through that you're going to form, you're going to get into some network, you're going to get into spaces that you would naturally not be able to get into when you're in your comfort zone, like your home country. So that is like a plus to them as well. It also speaks to the value of their human capacity, human resources, PR. So like you could say, oh, our employees are internationally trained, da 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 da. So those things also had value to them, and they would always naturally gravitate towards supporting you. That is, if you're a good person. No, if you not be good person, my brother and my sister, don't expect magic. So you only, it's like loyalty. They used to say that loyalty is two-way street. So you're not doing well, and then you're telling your employer that I want to go abroad to study. In fact, I hope you don't get your sack letter before the end of that week. Some countries could relate to what I'm saying. Anyways, on that's on a lighter note, but on a more serious note, it is very important that you get this documentation from your HR. I've seen cases to where some companies' HR does not have the culture where employee wants to tell them that, hey, I'm going to study, because it is more like a culture that does not encourage advancement. There are some company culture there are some corporate culture in some countries that are like that. So in that instance, just quietly get your confirmation of letter, and then confirmation of employment, okay, and then you can use that to show to the officer that you are working. On that note, you might not request for leave, and if you have to request for leave, chances are you might not be able to come back to that job again. There are some organizations that will not even keep your space for you. So the introduction letter in a nutshell should consist of it will introduce you, it will talk about your position, the years you've been working, your pay band, how you're paid, is it bi-weekly and all that. There's some letters that addresses that aspect. But the point I'm trying to make is that this is something that has to be generated on the company's letterhead. So you need to reach out to your HR or the operational manager that manages things like that. Work permits. There's a question that says, do I have to submit work permits with my student visa application? No. You've applied to study and you have received an offer letter to study. So you need to apply for a study permit to allow you to get a visa approved, then to travel to Canada to obtain your study permit at the port of entry in Canada. So focus on study permits, which is the reason you're applying. The good thing is international students are able to work 20 to 40 hours if you meet certain conditions. So depending on what the officer reviews and acting on behalf of the Minister for Immigration, you would be allowed to work or you may not be allowed to work. I have seen cases where some students came in, they just got their study permit and they are not able to work outside of campus. With your study permit, you're able to work within, during school year on campus for certain hours. I recommend that you go on canada.ca to review that, or wait for our next video on working while studying, the implication, the policy documentation as required for students to follow in terms of guidelines to ensure that they continue to remain in status, because it is wrong for you to do things in contrary to the policy in place on study and work elements while you're studying in Canada. So now, like I said, some programs can allow you to work on campus and some programs can allow you to work off campus. For you to work off campus, you must be able to have on your study permit that you are authorized to work. So once you get your study permits at the border, try to read the terms. There is always a term that will be stated somewhere below the study permit. It will clearly state to you that you can work on campus, you can work off campus, or you are not even allowed to work at all. Okay, so I hope that addresses your question. The point is, don't shy away from going on the Government of Canada website to read more, and I hope you learn more. If you don't have the time, wait for our next video on working while studying in Canada. Okay, now the last question, proof of relationship. We've talked a little bit about proof of relationship the other time, right? Because proof of relationship is also connected with your funding, right? Proof of relationship is also connected with funding. So if I have a sponsor that wants to sponsor me, that wants to sponsor my education, my living and all that, there has to be, the first question is, why is this person sponsoring you? Who is this person to you, right? So the proof of relationship would be, do you have what does your birth certificate, if it's like parents, they want to see your birth certificate that shows the father, the mother, right? And if it is like uncle, you want to be able to show how this person is related to your father, right? And you also want to be able to show marriage certificates. If it's your husband that is going to be sponsoring you, you want to show that that you're married, and this is my ATM that is sponsoring this education. Okay, during my MBA, my husband sponsored my MBA, so he presented all the documents, a marriage certificate, his employer's confirmation letter, his bank statements and all that. And I also put my own bank account there to show that yes, I am also somebody that is motivated to turn any resources within my disposal to profitable use. As at that time, I made some money that I put in my account, and I explained the work that I was doing, and the salary I was earning was also on my own account. But the bulk of the money, the entire sponsorship, was from my husband. So that is also another part. So you need to show that proof. Okay, you also want to show family photos. You can draw your family trees. If one uncle is sponsoring you, how does it relate to your father, to your mother? Show their proof of birth and birth certificate. And this brings me to one critical point: immigration form, IMM, which is IMM 5645 for family information. If you are going to be filling that form for the very first time, please take your time and put all the names of your family member, your siblings, your father, your mother. Make sure you put all those names there. Your siblings, make sure you put all their names there. Because if you don't do that now, if you want to sponsor any of your family, maybe your niece or your nephew in future, it will be very difficult to draw the family tree in connection with the family information you have provided now, that you're going to be providing now. So please, I've seen instances where people just, let me quickly submit, I'll come back to this later. You have like 7 siblings, you provided 3. And then later on in the future, you're now already established in Canada. One of those 4, one out of the 4 that you didn't put their name down, you now want to sponsor and say, hey, this is my brother's son. How do you address that? If you come and start that, you are raising a flag of misrepresentation. And misrepresentation under the law can land you 5-year ban. Okay? So please, when you're proving the relationship, ensure you get all the details of your siblings, even both those ones that are no longer alive. Please put it there. There will be part that will say, if deceased, put the city and the date of passing. Put it there because you might want to sponsor the daughter or the son of your brother who has, gone to be with the Lord. So please pay attention. Don't miss out on some of those important information that if you abandon today, could potentially haunt you in future. Where's my camera? Where am I looking at? Is this the camera? Oh, okay. This is where my camera is. I keep on making this mistake. I always look this way. Okay, this way. Okay. Now, I hope that has established that family, yeah. So, relationship, we've talked about that. And I'll talk about one more thing. We've talked about financial support in our first episode. Proof of means of financial support, bank statements, scholarship letters, sponsorship letters, and all that. Are you able to cover the study? your feeding, and every other thing. You must be able to address that. Okay, so I think we're done on this episode, and I want to share briefly an encounter that I had with someone in the course of my studying in Canada. By the way, after my MBA, I've gone ahead to study in other schools in Canada as a permanent resident, and even now as a Canadian citizen. Learning for me, it's an ongoing thing, so I take advantage of any opportunity to expand my horizon. So on this note, this person literally had some money with the mother, okay, and the mom, when she was providing information, the mom actually married before and had a son in the previous relationship. This guy, when he was applying for his study permit, he only put the names of his current siblings, direct siblings, and he forgot to put the name of the stepbrother. And meanwhile, in another application somewhere that his stepbrother put in to the government of Canada, he literally put his stepbrother's name on his application, because he believes, oh, he's my brother. He put it there, and he put his own direct siblings and his other stepbrothers from the mom's new marriage. So he had done his application before, and when this young guy came through, and this happened like 3 years ago, when he came through, he put his application, he omitted his stepbrother. The first thing that happened was, apparently, when the officer typed his name, and there's a way that the system connects all the dots. Apparently, when the officer typed, the form the brother filled before has this guy's name. So the element of misrepresentation was flagged, because the letter this new student got from the immigration was that they need, there's like a PFL, and when you receive a procedural fairness letter, it's giving you an opportunity to address a wrong before the officer makes a decision whether to even ban you or to deny your application. So that piece actually was pulled up in terms of having a family already in Canada, because he said he doesn't have a family in Canada, right? And his siblings is already in Canada. Maybe actually, apparently they lost contact. He didn't know when the stepbrother, arrived Canada. But that one is already in Canada. And I'm not sure if the mom was aware, depending on what their relationship was, which I never bothered, and I don't care, because again, every one of us, we all have our own things that we deal with, right? But in a nutshell, he put no where he was supposed to put yes for family in Canada. If he had taken a step back to ask his mom to say, hey mom, my stepbrother, I'm applying now, let me put his name. Even if the mom said, no, at least you asked, right? You didn't ask, you just, because maybe that would have helped him to know that his stepbrother is now in Canada. He would have been able to fix the part where he could have written yes, where he had put no, and then he also omitted the sibling's name. And misrepresentation means deliberately, withholding, or unconsciously. It could even be an unconscious miss. So at the end of the day, this guy was banned 5 years. So he has done 3 years now. It's remaining 2 years. So you see, the thing is, pay attention. Try as much as possible to do your due diligence, ask the right questions, and I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you beyond reasonable doubt that you should be very cautious, pay attention, conduct your due diligence, ask questions, because whoever has questions does not miss the way, does not miss the road. Thank you so much for coming again. I hope we've had a wonderful opportunity. If you have any comment, please leave your comments in the comment section. Let's deliberate, let's discuss, let's connect, let's interact. Share your ideas, share your opinion. There is no monopoly when it comes to wisdom. We all need to share perspective to gain more. I learn from you, you learn from me. So if you have any questions you want me to address, please send them to our email info@7thlaurelimigration.com, or follow us on our Instagram. Anywhere, throw your questions into our DM. We'll have someone who would run with it and send it our way. Email seems the best option for us because it helps us to stay productive. So thank you for coming once again. If you're yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button and then turn on the post notification so that you'll be the first to know when the last episode of this series, based on all the questions that were submitted
Please don't
in the
forget to
past 24
subscribe and turn
hours.
on the
I hope we'll
notification
be
so
able
that
to
you'll be the
address
first
this.
to
And
know when we upload a
my
new
name once
video.
again is
There are
Olaito.
additional
See
videos that I
you
mentioned
on the
before
last
that you
episode
can take
of this
advantage of.
week's
Proof of fund, how to make up your
questions.
document,
Take care.
how to
Bye.
calculate your proof of funds and all that. Just click on any of these buttons and you'll be able to watch those videos. Stay blessed and stay healthy.